I'm not too bad, not too bad. You shaved your head.
Say again.
You shaved your head.
Oh, I have, yeah. Had to be done last lockdown haircutting it. It was getting too long, the fringe, so
Mine's
just
the
thought I'd get
same.
rid of it.
I hadn't done it this lockdown. I did it the first one, but I've left it this time.
Left it this time, yeah, fair enough. I just didn't want to take the risk of not getting it cut before my fight because I didn't
Oh
want to
yeah,
get into the cage and have like a big fringe covering my eyes. So I was
yeah.
like, fuck it, I'm just gonna shave it off. So
How's it been going?
yeah,
How's the fight been going?
very well, yeah, really good actually. Been able to train every day, been able to get in the gym. We've got quite a few of us fighting on Cage Warriors, so we've got like just a group of guys that are all contracted to fight, so we're able to train. So I've been able to get like boss sessions in pretty much every day. So
Yeah.
it's not been any different really from what it normally is. So it's been good
That's because of COVID, like restrictions now. Because you're all fighting on the same event, you're all able to get in
to
together.
train together. Yeah, exactly. Anyone who's got like a Cage Warriors bout agreement
Yeah,
we're classed as like elite athletes. So under like the guidelines, we're still able to train. So luckily our gym's got like about 10 people signed to Cage Warriors, so
yeah,
we're all able to get in and train. So it's been good. Yeah.
decent. Has it been much? You fought a few times now, like since like COVID's been a thing, and
Yeah.
and obviously like it's been a lot quieter with no crowds there and that. Is there
Yeah.
anything else you like noticed apart from that? It's been like different really, or like, training or anything like that in the fights? Or
Um, anything different? Obviously, the whole event, the whole weekend, like fight weekend, very different. Like the last one I fought on in December.
yeah,
It's strange not having any of my friends and family there because
yeah,
normally, like I fought away a couple of times in Ireland, in Wales, or stuff like that, and I've got like a good little group that normally come down to all the fights with me, like my girlfriend and all my best mates, and then my family. So it's been weird. Like right after this fight, I went back to the changing rooms, and then we had to stay at the venue until all the fights. So I was the first fight of the night. I had to stay at the venue till the last fight, and then we all got put on a minibus back to the hotel. So because we were staying again that night, we couldn't go out into the public and break the COVID bubble that Cage Warriors had created. So that was strange. Like just literally going from winning my fight, sitting in the changing room, back to the hotel, don't see anyone, and
yeah.
then like had to wait till the next day to go home. So that was weird. But in terms of training, like I was saying before, not much changed. If anything, I've actually feel like it's been better training wise because I've had no external distractions. You know what I mean? Like every day there's nothing else to do. The whole
Mm.
world's shut down, isn't there? So there's nothing else to do other than for me to go and get my training in, and then come home and focus on recovering and doing all my stretching and that. So it's been good training wise.
Did you like been able to hear your corner more like, during your last fight and that about the crowd there?
Yeah, definitely. You can. I mean, normally I'm quite good at dialing in and zoning in on just my cornerman's voice anyway. So even when there's a crowd, I feel like I've been, in the fights. That's sort of you kind of dial in anyway on that. But that last one was very like silent, so you could just hear everything your coaches were saying, and then obviously I could hear what his team was saying and stuff as well. So it was interesting. But yeah, I could definitely hear them better.
That's what I've always wondered. Like, can you hear your opponent's corner and like think about what they're gonna do from like what
Yeah,
what their corner's
like
doing?
it is weird because you're kind of dialed in on what your coaches are saying, but you do hear the odd thing. If they might say, for example, get your back to the mat, get your back to the mat. If you're on someone's back, and then you think, right, he's going to try and like get his shoulders on the mat now, so stay and follow underneath him and stuff like that. There's like certain key instructions you can hear them shout that you quickly pick up on, and you're like, right, he's going to do this now. And then sometimes they don't even do it anyway. But yeah, especially like with no crowd, you could hear his corner as well.
Mm. Yeah, you're obviously 4-0 at the minute. All of them finishes. You're doing all right, like
Yeah,
it, yeah.
not doing too bad. We're off to a good start, aren't we?
Yeah. Do you feel like you've got more pressure now going into each fight to get the finish, or is it not really something you think about?
No, I'm not. I mean, I'd love to finish every fight, obviously, and that's what I'm going in there to do because I know ultimately looking to get to the UFC and that they want exciting people that finish fights. Like if you get a 10-0 guy who's got all decisions and a 10-0 guy who's got 10 finishes, they're going to want to sign the 10-0 with the guy with all the finishes. Um, but I don't feel pressure to go and get a finish in my next fight. I just want to win. Do you know what I mean? That's the main focus. Win by any means necessary. So if I've got to go and decision someone, also the level of opponent I'm facing each time is going to gradually get better and better and better up to the UFC. So I'm not I'm not ignorant to that. I know that it's going to get harder and harder to keep finishing people. But saying that, I'm also improving every fight. So if the step ups and my improvements are in line with each other, then I should keep finishing everyone, hopefully. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you next, because obviously Martignoni is he's 6-0. Is that something that you think about, the fact that your opponent's undefeated? I know you faced, like, it was your debut, you faced Rico Biggs, he was 4-0, weren't he, on your debut, which is obviously, is that something you think about at all, or not really?
No. The good thing about my career so far is I've had tough tests the whole way along. I've never had an easy fight. Even I think like my first couple of amateur fights, I fought guys that were no experience and whatever, and there was my first couple of fights, it was their first couple of fights. But then from around like my third or fourth amateur fight, I was fighting the best amateurs in the country. So every fight was against someone good and of a high level. And then as soon as I turned pro, I fought someone 4-0. Most people fight journeymen that are like 0-37 for the pro debut. Do you know what I mean? Or another debut lad who's like the similar level as you. But I took on a 4-0, and my skill level was a lot higher than his. But looking at it on paper, that's a risky fight to take for your pro debut. Do you know what I mean? But I was confident. I was confident in my skills, and I'd watched him, and I knew I was better than him. And my coaches were like, "Yeah, you know what I mean? You can beat him. You're better than him. You've already fought people tougher than him and stuff." So I thought that would be a good move to take that fight and straight away put me on the map as like, who's this guy making his debut against a 4-0 and finishing him in the first round. And then I went on. My next fight was against another debut, but then I fought a 3-0 after that, and then my last opponent was 3-1. So if you look at my record from even my amateur fights, everyone's got a good winning record. Do you know what I mean? A lot more wins than losses. So this kid's record that I'm fighting next, I don't look too much into it. I look into his skill set. I've watched his fights and how good he is. But I'm not asked that he's 6-0. That doesn't mean anything to me, really.
Must have given you a lot of confidence on your debut getting that win. There's obviously a set
definitely
over a guy with more experience who's 4-0.
Yeah, it was good. It was a little confidence boost. Every fight, every win's a confidence boost. Do you know what I mean? Because then, okay, I know where I'm at now. I've beat him. I'm better than him. I'm better than him. I'm better than him. So, every win is a little confidence boost. So, and I'm pretty confident now because I've had quite a few wins. So
I really like was it the arm triangle ended that fight?
Yeah,
that was smooth as fuck, passing the guard and stuff. I really like that.
Thank you very much. Yeah, the commentator said he was like, as a quick transition. Yeah. Well, that's just that's like one of my go-to subs. In the gym all the time when I'm rolling with people. Yeah, like I'm very quick at catching them, especially like if I'm on someone's back and they're turning in, or if I'm passing a transition. And to be honest with you, Rico kind of gave me that. Like, if you see the final finishing sequence, he tried to like bridge and like explode out, and in doing so, he like left his arm in. So I just collected it, and he basically gave me it really. But I was I took the opportunity well. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah. What do you make of your next opponent, Martignoni? Have you been watching a lot of his tapes and stuff? Or?
Yeah, there's not a lot on him other than the Wesley Meyer fight, his last one on Cage Warriors, which is obviously his most recent performance anyway. So the good thing about that fight is it was 3 rounds and we got to see a bit of his striking.
Was that his Cage Warriors
debut? Yeah,
his
Cage Warriors debut. Yeah, he fought Wesley. Yeah. He fought Wesley Meyer, didn't he? So, and it went 3 rounds. So we got to see a bit of his striking, bit of his wrestling, bit of him on bottom, bit of him on top. So that fight alone has given me a good like overall view of him. Do you know what I mean? Because I looked at some of his previous fights, but they're a long time ago. The most recent one I could see on YouTube was like 3 years ago, and it was in a ring. And it was like a bit of a messy fight. So I've kind of gone off the Wesley Meyer fight. Do you know what I mean? What I think of him is he's all right on the feet. He's very basic. He throws like big looping shots, an overhand right, a left hook. He might throw like a right hand step through into a left body kick. It's like 1 or 2 shots. He doesn't throw big combinations. It's not like setting you up for stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's more just like 1 or 2 big power shots. His grappling, I thought it was more Wesley being tired than Michele being a good grappler. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, he does a lot of the basic things right, like the way he passes from half guard to side and steps over to mount, takes the back well. He does all the basics well. I think he's decent. Do you know what I mean? He's all right everywhere. I just think I'm better at every aspect of the game than him. So But he's tough. That's another thing, because he lost the first round and then he come back and won the next two. So to do that, you've got to be mentally strong to go back to your corner and be like, okay, that didn't work. You know what I mean? I need to change it up now and go to something else. But I think it helped a lot that Wesley pretty much gassed out. Do you know what I mean? Like, Wesley had the boss first round, and then
I was going to say, you must have been taking notes that first round, like.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I going into that one, I was thinking I'm probably going to fight one of these two soon. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously they're both in my division. It was a big bantamweight fight. It was on the main card like the Thursday. So I was like, I know if I get past Lee, I'll be 4-0, 4 finishes like I am now. I'm probably going to get one of these two next. And then, rightly so, I've ended up fighting Michele. So, yeah.
Do you see your path? Do you sort of pan out your your path to the title then? Or is that sort of something you think about, or is it just sort of each fight as it comes? I'll get there when I get there.
Yeah, I mean, I know in my head that's what I'm aiming towards, is the title, and then going to the UFC. Obviously, I don't have like a specific path of like I want to beat him and then I want to fight him and then I want to fight him and whatever. Because one of my teammates, Liam Gittins, is 6-1 and he's about to fight Ryan Booland. And with a win there, I think Liam is probably going to fight for the belt next. So in my head, I'm just thinking, get past Michele or get another finish there, and then however many. If Liam wins the belt, obviously he's going to be defending it once or twice before he goes to the UFC. So I'm going to have a couple of fights there to play with, maybe like 2 or 3 more after this one before I then fight for the belt after him. In a perfect world, that's how it'd go down. Do you know what I mean? So time frame wise, sort of end of this year, maybe beginning of next year, I want to be looking at a title fight on Cage Warriors. So I don't have anyone specific who I want to fight, just whoever I need to beat to get to the belt.
Yeah. So we not reckon much to fighting one of your teammates then. Obviously, like, it was like Gilbert Usman fight recently, weren't it? Well, they were obviously former teammates.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I just lost you there a second.
Yeah, I mean, I've just I put my 4G on instead. I think my Wi-Fi is being a bit funny.
Yeah, I was just saying, it's the Gilbert Usman fight, weren't it, recently? Where they're obviously like former teammates fighting each other. You probably wouldn't reckon much to going against Liam, or you've got a friendship between you guys? Or?
No. Well, obviously, yeah, we're like very close mates. We train together every day, so we always talk quite joking around, like you know. But he's a little bit further on in his career than me, so he's probably going to be fighting for the belt before me, which is sound. You know what I mean? I'm in no rush. I'm only 23. Do you know what I mean? So realistically, I can float around for another 2-3 years on Cage Warriors before I go to the UFC. So it'll probably work out well. It'll probably slow me down, Liam, having the belt, because then I can build up my record with a few more fights, get a bit more experience. So then when I do win the belt, I'm even more prepared to go to the UFC than what I would be now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it'll probably work out for the best.
Bit of a different question for you, but if you weren't doing MMA, what other combat, like if MMA didn't exist, what combat sport do you reckon you'd be doing? Do you think that'd be like boxing or jiu-jitsu or something like that, for example?
Yeah, I mean, I love jiu-jitsu, but there's no money in it, so I'd probably try my hand at boxing. I know I'm more of a grappler anyway, my style, but that's only because I've put more time into the grappling over the years. My striking's starting to get better and better now the more time I'm putting into it. I think if I put as much time into just my boxing as I did with MMA, obviously I could go and box with Chris Williams, my boxing coach anyway. He's got a load of pro lads that he's coaching now. So I'd probably try my hand in the boxing game with them. Yeah. But MMA for me, there's not a future in boxing. MMA is a thing, so I'll be doing that for the foreseeable.
Did you start out doing boxing, or did you start out just doing MMA?
Originally, I went to an MMA gym in Southport where I live. I went to a gym called the Dog Pit. One of my mates, Kieran, he was training there, and then he took me down. And so I was doing like MMA there, but there wasn't a lot of guys there. It wasn't like it wasn't a very high level. Do you know what I mean? So I met a guy there called Carl McGrath, who was like the wrestling coach at the gym, and he used to wrestle for like Britain and that back in the day for GB. So he used to take me and my mate Adam down to Wigan, like Aspel Wrestling Club, Aspel Warriors, and then I met my mate Charlie Bowling, who's like our wrestling coach now at the gym, and he's like one of the best wrestlers in the UK. So then I started basically just because there was no one to train with in the MMA gym in Southport. No one was really turning up, just me and Adam. So we ended up going to Wigan most nights and wrestling. And then we were like, Charlie was saying, do you want to do this comp? Do you want to do that comp? So we ended up doing a load of wrestling competitions. So like, just because that's the way it happened, I didn't like decide I wanted to get into wrestling, but the way it turned out, I ended up solely doing freestyle wrestling for like 3 or 4 years when I first started. And then when I found Next Gen, that's when I started putting it all back together again properly and focusing on MMA. But when I got into it, I wanted to do MMA. I didn't want to do like one specific combat sport. I knew what MMA was. I'd watched the UFC and I wanted to do that. So yeah, I got into it as MMA.
Yeah. So far in your career, what's the standout moment been for you? Like your highest moment so far?
I think my third pro fight when I fought Joanne Segas in Manchester. That was like right before COVID happened and we all went lockdown about 2 weeks before, and it was in Manchester. So I sold about 100 and odd tickets, 110 tickets or something. Like all my close friends were there, all my family. And then I went and finished him in like the first round. It was just like such a sick night. It was just unreal having everyone there, like even walking out to the cage and everything. I don't normally think the crowd affects me too much, but that night I got like such a buzz off seeing like everyone there. Do you know what I mean? Everyone was right by the walkout where I was, so I just drew all the energy from the crowd. I ended up getting in the cage in like the perfect like zone. Do you know what I mean? Like I was perfectly, my level of like intensity and everything was perfect for the fight because of I think the energy that I got from the crowd. So everything just went well. And then afterwards, I was like celebrating with everyone. So for me, that was probably like a standout moment when I beat him, and then I got on top of the cage and I was fucking buzzing, getting, and like I could just see all my mates there and all my family, like the whole crowd cheering for us. That was a sick moment. And then you go to December when I fought Lee Mitchell. I did the same, got on top of the cage, and there's like no one there.
Yeah.
Thinking, it was a bit anticlimactic.
Yeah.
But yeah, that third fight was probably the highlight of my career so far.
Do you go out and celebrate afterwards?
Say again, sorry.
Did you go out and celebrate afterwards?
No, I went back to mine. I got a McDonald's. Got a McDonald's drive-through. Went back to mine with a couple of the lads and my bird, and we watched. Well, I put on the UFC. It was Adesanya versus Romero.
Yeah.
That night, and that was a shit fight. Obviously,
yeah, it was.
So I literally got a McDonald's, went back to mine, ate loads of chalky, and then watched the UFC. Yeah, but it wasn't. I tell you what, what was it? The co-main event was Wei Li Zhang versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
That was good.
That was a heavy scrap. Yeah, that was better than the main event. So yeah, that's what I did after that night. I don't often go out drinking after fights and that. I haven't for like years now. I'm just not really into it. Do you know what I mean? So I normally just go back to mine and get a load of food in and just chill with like my close mates and my girlfriend. So.
What did you get after your saying about food? What did you get after your weigh-in?
After me weigh-in, I don't go too mad because obviously you've got to fight the next day, so I don't want to I don't want to go from eating like super clean like the last 4 weeks and then weighing in and then putting a load of shit in my body. Do you know what I mean? So I'll eat like relatively clean. I'll get a Nando's the Friday night before the fight, so I'll do me weigh-in, do all the rehydration and stuff, carb up, eat as much like carbs as possible, and then that Friday night I'll get a Nando's. It's normally me go-to, and then on Saturday night after that it's just the first fast food gaff that I can get to. Like the last one, there was obviously we had to go back to the Cage Warriors Hotel, so I just got on Deliveroo. Like KFC was the first thing that come up, so I just ordered like a Zinger burger from there and a load of chicken wings. And it was actually pretty horrible, to be honest. But yeah, when we go to, I just get like horrible fast food because I'm not eating it for.
I've never had a burger from KFC.
Yeah, no, it's not. It weren't great, to be honest. But yeah, so yeah, the fast food after that on the Saturday.
Is it a big cut for you? Like,
it's never I never normally cut a lot of weight. I'm a bit bigger coming into this one, but I still think it's going to be pretty smooth. I walk around about 70 kilo normally when I'm training. Obviously, I fight a bantamweight, which is 61.8 kilo. So But I never get fat. Do you know what I mean? Even when I am at 70 kg, I'm still pretty lean. So this week I'll be coming into fight week like a little bit heavier than I normally do, but I think it's because I've put on a bit of muscle. So I think the cut's still going to be easy. Like when I end up doing me water loading and me baths, the weight just flies off me. Like last time, I think I did 2 like 10-minute baths and wrapped myself in the towels for like half an hour after that, and I was on weight. You know what I mean? So it was very easy. I think it'll be similar this time, just maybe one more bath or something. So it's not hard, but I'm growing into bantamweight. Do you know what I mean? Like when my pro debut, I think I cut like 3 pounds to more than off. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now I'm cutting a bit more, but not to the point where I'm looking at moving up a weight class or anything. It's not that hard.
Yeah. See like fighters like Darren Till, putting a load of weight on in between camps and that, don't they?
Yeah.
You sound like you seem keep quite fit in between camps.
Yeah, he gets nice and fat.
Keep the weight down between camps. I mean,
yeah, and don't get me wrong, I eat a load of shit after my fight. I don't think any fighter they're lying if they tell you they don't eat shit after a fight, because you put yourself through like 8 weeks or 6 weeks, whatever you need to do with dieting. I mean, I'm not too bad where like I can pretty much get away with eating what I want in camp up until the last sort of 3 or 4 weeks. You know what I mean? So it's a shorter diet for me, but still it's enough to make you want to go and eat shit afterwards. But I keep my training on, so that's why I don't put on weight. Do you know what I mean? Like as soon as I've fought, I might take a couple of days off, say, you know, if my foot's sore from kicking him or my hand's a bit sore from hitting him. But then after that, I'll get right back to training the week after. So then there's a period of time where I'm training but eating a bit of shit so my weight doesn't get too out of hand. You know what I mean? It's the fighters who stop training for like a month after the fight and just eat shit. They put on a load of weight, but I keep the training going so I can get away with it.
Yeah. I think one of my favourite moments in one of your fights is the Kieran Mulholland fight, where it sounds odd, but he's at one point he's taking your back, and you think obviously he's got the arm under your neck, and you think, but instead of fighting that arm, you fought the other hand from joining it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was, I thought a lot of people instinctively would fight the arm they've got under the neck.
Fight the choking hand.
Yeah. I thought that was like a stand up. I thought, one of my favourite moments in one of your fights, because I mean, I don't know about jiu-jitsu,
nice
but I don't know about jiu-jitsu, but I thought that was great.
Well, normally you do get taught to fight the choking hand, and because you can get finished with one arm if people are really good. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to join your hands. If people got a good squeeze and they can like position the hand in the right place, you can get finished with one arm. But I just think it was more like in the heat of the moment, that arm was sunk in deep and he was like wrapped around the back of my neck, and I knew he was going to he kind of come round with this arm rather than like just sliding it in. He come like round, big movement with it, and I just kind of reacted and caught the arm, and that gave me a minute because he wasn't squeezing then. So I just secured that arm, calmed myself down, and then eventually, as I had hold of this arm, I was working on getting back to the mat and getting him off my back, and then in that process, I changed to the other arm, stripped it, and then turned. So that was just like working off instincts. You know what I mean? Just being in that position loads in the gym, having people on my back, attacking chokes, and being able to defend it and get out. And then ended up on his back about a minute later, and then
obviously
strangled him and got the win. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, I didn't do a big movement with my arm. He did. He actually peeled that hand off the head, but I changed it to a short choke as he did. So I had like a locked in rear naked, and then he peeled my other arm off, like a similar defense to what I was doing. But as he went to peel it, I just changed the grip to like a short choke, and got the finish that way. So again, that's just drilling. Do you know what I mean? I get to that position a lot in the gym. Like every single round, I'm trying to get on people's backs. When we're doing rolling jiu-jitsu, I'm looking for the back, and our gym's full of good back takers. So there's a lot of times when people are on my back and I've got to, defend and get out. So that's just like years and years of drilling that and rolling with high level guys in the gym. So yeah.
I appreciate you coming on, Nathan. Cheers for your time.
No worries. Yeah.
Look forward to
thanks for having us on, mate.
Yeah, look forward to seeing you fight in less than 2 weeks now, innit?
Yeah, less than 2 weeks, a week on Saturday, so not long to go.
Looking forward to it, man.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on, mate.
See you in a bit.